Ayo, because I'm a filthy bounty hoarding nerd, I managed to unlock every column on the artifact yesterday. Then, instead of prepping for the day one raid like a good noodle, I spent the entire afternoon and evening testing perks on the artifact to find out how good those column 4 and column 5 perks really are. Do me a favor, don't tell my raid team. Anyway, without further ado, why don't we go over some of these perks and find out how good they are overall. But first, rapid fire info about a few of the early artifact perks in case you really wanted to know. As expected, Elemental Siphon is awesome, and it'll make an elemental pickup on every third kill made in rapid succession. Was hoping it to be every other kill, but that would probably be too broken. Threaded Blast is also awesome, as it expands the blast radius of your Tangle explosions by a noticeable degree, although oddly it seems to lower the explosion damage number. Don't ask me why, I haven't slept enough to be able to give you a good answer to that question. And finally, Press the Advantage does not work in PvP, which I'm a combination of happy and sad about. And before you even write it, we have had perks in the past that have worked in PvP, even though the description included the word combatants in it, so no, I'm not dumb for testing that. Anyway, first perk in column 4 to talk about, Blade Stamina. Rapidly defeating combatants with a sword refunds some ammo. Translation, if you kill 3 enemies in rapid succession with a sword, you get 3 ammo back. Meaning, yeah, in theory, you can sword enemies forever and never run out of ammo. Just remember the kills do have to be kinda close together. I did a really drawn out 3 kill combo and didn't get the ammo refunded, so you gotta be quick about it. Overall, better than I thought it would be, and maybe Bungie will get me to use swords a little bit in the final shape, especially with that wild new exotic on the table. Link to that video below if you haven't seen it yet. Next up, Void Hegemony. While you have a Void or Prismatic subclass equipped, defeating weakened targets provides a small Void overshield. Man, let me tell you, when they say small, they really do mean small. The Void overshield gets applied in teeny tiny little chunks and have a 10-second duration overall. The good news is the timer refreshes if you gun down another weakened enemy, so that's cool. As long as you have a consistent way of applying weaken, this is not incredible, but definitely a solid free buff from the artifact overall. Before we talk about the column 4 perk that I'll be gushing over the entire rest of the damn season, if you've ever watched me stream on Twitch, you know that I love getting distracted and talking about food, which is why I'm really hyped that today's video is sponsored by Magic Spoon. Let's thank them real quick. I love cereal, and Magic Spoon is great for those who are carb conscious or getting routine sugar guilt. In short, it's the awesome taste you grew up with watching Saturday morning cartoons, but with only 4 to 5 grams net carbs per serving and no sugar. They sent me their variety pack, which I eagerly tried, and yeah, hard thumbs up from me. The variety pack flavors are cocoa, fruity, peanut butter, and frosted. Let me tell you, I was not expecting my favorite flavor out of the bunch to be fruity, but here we are. Frosted gets the runner-up though, GG. Again, there's no artificial ingredients, has 0 sugar, and is a damn good tasting, wholesome snack that I don't feel guilty about eating. Click the link below to grab a variety pack for yourself and try them out. You will not regret it. Use promo code Fallout at checkout to get $5 off any order, or go to magicspoon.com/fallout. Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee, so if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. You genuinely have nothing to lose. Again, click the link below or scan the QR code on screen and use code Fallout for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/fallout. And one more time, big thank you to Magic Spoon. I will be talking about them on stream for a long time, I'm sure. All right, we back. Yeah, it should come as a shock to no one that Radiant Orbs is one of the best column 4 perks we've ever had on an artifact. It works exactly the way you'd expect. Generate an orb, pick it up, and as long as you're solar or prismatic, boom, Radiant. Considering how dummy forehead easy it is to generate orbs in the year of our Lord 2024, if you play prismatic or radiant in PvE and you don't have this on at all times, literally throwing. Yes, I'm sure you have other ways of becoming radiant, we all do. Add this one onto the pile. It is free real estate. Next, Galvanic Armor. I was really hoping this would display a resist icon on your HUD, the same way it does if you're a warlock rocking the stag. But no HUD text. You just kind of have to believe it's there even when you don't see it, like God or your father's love. Tried to get enemies to damage me to see how strong the effect was overall, but wasn't able to really get consistent info out of that. More on that perk in the future if I find a way to get specific numeric data, but that'll be hard. On to column 5 and Prismatic Transfer. When you cast your super, each member of your fire team with a super type different than yours gains a bonus to weapon damage. Gotta briefly apologize for the potentially grainy footage. My good buddy Ares recorded these numbers to help me out, which I do appreciate. I couldn't record the numeric data myself because I'm the gremlin with the fully upgraded artifact and bad sleeping schedule, and I'm the one buffing his damage numbers. Here's what we got. Prismatic Transfer will last for 10 seconds when activated. I know it says 9 on the HUD, but with the delay between the timer hitting 0 and the buff actually going away, it is 10 seconds total. On a normal body shot, he does 6,950 damage, and with Prismatic Transfer activated, he does 8,340, meaning an overall damage buff of 20%. Important to know, by the way, the damage buff on this perk does not stack with Radiant or the Warlock Radiant Well. They fall under the same category as an empowering buff, meaning if you have both active at the same time, the game just takes the better number between the two. Unfortunate, but I do get it. If they did stack together, it would be incredibly wild. Argent Blade works how I'm sure a lot of you were expecting. Step 1, get armor charge. Step 2, activate Argent Blade by dealing any sword damage. When you do, you get a 5-second window where your sword damage goes up by 15% and it consumes 1 armor charge. Not too shabby. If we ever have an upcoming raid or dungeon encounter where the boss takes more damage from swords, kind of like Crota, that'll be handy. Here's one I was really curious about, expanding Abyss. Void sources deal increased damage to weakened targets. How much extra damage? Believe it or not, depends on the type of weaken. For the most part, in D2, with very few exceptions, most weaken effects are either 15%, things like Child of the Old Gods, Echo of Undermining, or 30%, things like Tractor Cannon or the Hunter Tether. In short, expanding Abyss is kind of a diminishing return type deal. If you apply a 15% weaken to the enemy, like with Echo of Undermining or Ye Old Void Child, then hit a target with Void damage, expanding Abyss will bump that up to a 25% weaken, aka the target is now taking 25% more damage instead of just 15% more damage. Not too bad, and by the way, the expanding Abyss seems to last as long as the target is under the effects of weaken, which is great. If you apply a 30% weaken to an enemy, like with Tractor Cannon, expanding Abyss bumps that up to a grand total of 35% weaken, which is a mild bummer, but it does make sense, because if it went all the way up to 40%, that would be freaking insane. But yeah, 35%, not freaking bad, considering many of us now have God Roll Edge transits from Into the Light, and they happen to be void. Remember to keep those nearby for the day 1 raid. Oh, and by the way, Nova Bomb Warlocks, rise the fuck up. Remember, Nova Bomb just got buffed in the final shape, and in a quick and dirty damage test, Slova Bomb with a Tractor Cannon did 613,569 damage to the GOA Ogre. That went up to 637,492 with expanding Abyss as expected. Then on top of that, you add on the Prismatic Fragment Facet of Courage, and our grand total Nova Bomb damage was 701,252. Not freaking bad. Make no mistake, this is definitely not the best burst super damage in the game, but hey, as a Warlock main, we will take it. One final note on Abyss. Even though the perk just says weakened enemies and not void weakened enemies, this perk will only work if the enemy was weakened by a void weaken source. Therefore, it does not work with Divinity or anything else weird like Flash Counter. Yes, we tested goddamn Flash Counter because we are professionals. Only void weaken effects will make the perk work. Next, I'm gonna skip around real quick and head all the way down to Transference. The improved grenade and melee damage when Transcendent is plus 10%. Not bad, and if you're running Prismatic, literally no reason to not have that perk turned on at all times. The part where weapon final blows refund light and dark energy, also not terrible. Got a bunch of weapon kills while Transcendent and almost got close to half my energy back for both light and dark. Hell yeah. Alrighty, the final perk to talk about, Shieldcrush. While you have Woven Mail, Frost Armor, or an Overshield, your melee recharges faster and deals more damage. While you're Amplified or Radiant, your grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. I was expecting this perk to be good, but I wasn't expecting it to buff both your melee and your grenade by 25%. I thought it was going to be a reasonable 10%, like Transference. Now, because the season is still really new and we're just starting to experiment right now, I don't know the full breadth of how hard Shieldcrush will go. But with those numbers, there is big ceiling potential on Shieldcrush, especially when paired together with something like Sunbracers. And you thought they were gone forever. Really though, it is early, but when the wild build videos come, and believe me, they're coming, many will feature Shieldcrush. Oh, and icing on the cake, that little wisp thingy that you throw in the new Warlock Super, Song of Flame, because those are technically grenades, I tested, and yup, Shieldcrush makes those 25% stronger too for free. Fun times. Do me a favor and ring the notification bell. I got more videos on the way, and check out my stream on Friday for the contest mode raid where Twitch drops will be on. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.